Have you ever planned a trip so meticulously, so perfectly, that it fell apart in the most spectacular way possible? If so, you might just be a kindred spirit of Jerome, George, and Harris, the legendary trio from Jerome K. Jerome's masterpiece, 3 Men in a Boat. Today, we're diving into the glorious, hilarious chaos of one of the funniest books ever written, a timeless tribute to the art of muddling through. So, who are these 3 men? We have Jay, our narrator, a hypochondriac of epic proportions. He once read a medical encyclopedia and concluded he had every disease known to man, except for Housey Maid's knee. Then there's George, who works at a bank and whose idea of strenuous activity is sleeping. And finally, Harris, a man who boasts about his work ethic, but has a unique talent for creating more problems than he solves. And let's not forget the 4th, and arguably most sensible member of the crew, Montmorency, the fox-terrier, who believes his life's purpose is to get in the way and bark at kettles. Their grand plan: a 2-week boating trip up the River Thames. It's born from a collective feeling of being overworked and in desperate need of a rest. Sounds simple, right? A peaceful float down the river, surrounded by nature's tranquility. Oh, how wrong they were. The planning phase itself is a masterclass in absurdity. The argument over what to bring is legendary. They start with a list that includes everything from a frying pan to a piano, before realizing they can't possibly fit it all in a small boat. The debate over the cheese is a particular highlight. Its aroma is so potent, so world-conquering, that it clears out a train carriage and eventually has to be buried on a beach. This is foreshadowing, folks. If they can't even manage a block of cheese, what hope is there for the actual trip? The packing scene is pure slapstick gold. Jay prides himself on being an expert packer, but his method involves creating a mountain of chaos, packing things, forgetting them, unpacking everything to find a toothbrush, and then repacking it. All only to realize he S-packed the butter and has to sit on it to get it out. George and Harris are no better. They start by making a small mountain of plates and cups, and then proceed to break a cup, squash a tomato, tread on the butter, and salt everything imaginable. Montmorency, of course, contributes by pretending lemons are rats and killing them. It is a scene of such domestic pandemonium that you coo and help but laugh at the shearing. Once on the river, the chaos only escalates. Their attempts at setting up the canvas cover for the boat at night result in them getting hopelessly entangled, creating a scene that looks like a failed circus act. They try to open a tin of pineapple without a can opener, which evolves into a full-scale assault, using every tool they have, nearly sinking the boat in the process. The tin, of course, remains undefeated, battered but unbreached, a monument to their failure. Their encounters with the river itself are just as funny. They get lost in Hampton Court maze, a supposedly simple puzzle that turns into a bewildering nightmare. They struggle with the concept of a tow rope, nearly decapitating themselves and innocent bystanders. They try to cook scrambled eggs and produce a yellow, lumpy substance that sticks to the pan like cement. A culinary disaster that even Montmorency turns his nose up at. Every simple task becomes an insurmountable challenge, a testament to their incredible ability to mess things up. But here's the genius of the book. Amidst all the slapstick and absurdity, Jerome K. Jerome weaves in these beautiful, almost poetic descriptions of the Thames. He writes about the quiet beauty of the river at dawn, the history that whispers from the old towns and ancient churches along its banks, and the simple joy of drifting along under a summer sky. These moments of peace and beauty are the perfect contrast to the human chaos unfolding in the boat. It's a reminder that even when we're making a complete mess of things, the world around us remains beautiful and serene. The book is also a brilliant commentary on human nature. We all know A.G., convinced they're suffering from some obscure ailment. We all know Harris, full of bluster and terrible ideas. And we all have a bit of George in us, happy to let others do the hard work. Jerome captures the quirks, the vanities, and the sheer silliness of ordinary people. He understood that we often take ourselves far too seriously, and our grand plans are usually just a prelude to comical failure. And what's the ultimate lesson from 3 Men in a Boat? It's the joy of the journey, not the destination. Their trip was, by all objective measures, a disaster. They were wet, they were hungry, they were frequently lost, and they probably smelled terrible. But they were together, and they were having an adventure. The book teaches us that sometimes the best memories are made not when things go perfectly, but when they go perfectly wrong. It's about finding the humor in our own incompetence, laughing at our mistakes, and realizing that a little bit of muddling through is what makes life interesting. When they finally abandon the boat and take a train back to London, it's not a defeat. It's a surrender to common sense. They end their trip in a restaurant, eating a proper meal, and looking back on their misadventures with fondness. They failed at boating, but they succeeded at creating a story for the ages. So, why does this book, written over a century ago, still feel so fresh and funny? Because it taps into a universal truth. We are all in our own way. 3 men in a boat. We make grand plans. We overestimate our abilities, and we often find ourselves in a muddle of our own making. But if we can learn to laugh at ourselves, to find the joy in the chaos, and to appreciate the quiet moments of beauty along the way, then we're doing just fine. The book is a warm, witty, and wonderful reminder not to take life or ourselves too seriously. If you've never read it, you're in for an absolute treat. It's the perfect companion for anyone who's ever tried and failed, and then laughed about it later. Thanks for joining me on this trip down the Thames. If you enjoyed this little literary voyage, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe share your own disastrous holiday stories in the comments below. See you next time.